Hello, Heathens.
Hello, Ian's.
For us, we're back. For you, we've never left.
We're back. Oh,
Sorry, we never left.
yeah. Somebody had to go camping last week. Some bullshit.
Listen, I'm going again for my birthday again this year, and I'm like counting down. I'm like 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks, whatever it is, because I'm like that one's gonna be good because I'm actually going to do nothing except for read books, and I'm gonna take my artwork and draw and just sit outside and do nothing.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, I've realized that camping, I have become that person where I'm like, I want to camp at least once a month because it's just like, for me, it's such a good thing to get away from the house, get away from work, and just be out in nature in an easy way where it's like, I don't have to like worry about anything because we have all of our means, but then I get to like actually enjoy sitting outside and doing nothing.
Hmm.
Oh, I just fucking love it so much. So yeah, we went camping last week and your girl had all the things to do on Thursday and Nicole loves me and says, yes, we will do two in one day. So on the day this is coming out is the day we are actually recording.
That's right. That's right.
You guys
Day,
have seen
day.
this
We have aligned
real
real
time,
time, real time.
baby.
We should have done this live.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't
We
know if
sh
we could do that.
I was just gonna say we should do some live and just record them and that's what we use because like that'd be cool.
Hmm.
You could do TikTok lives. If you guys jump on our TikTok and start following our TikTok, we could do TikTok
Oh, we could
lives.
do TikTok. Well, there we go.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Hmm.
Um, okay, what I really quick wanted to start with today, because we have been running through these episodes and we have a lot to cover, so we usually just jump right in. But I realized that we actually don't have an insane amount to cover usually, and we feel like we do, so we jump in. But I want to do a little update with Nicole for you guys because last time we knew about it was how many freaking episodes ago? One, two, wow, lots of episodes ago. That Nicole was doing a full moon ritual. She was doing or a moon ritual for her magic course, and I wanted to hear and for you guys to hear an update on it, like where she's at, if she finished it, and like how it went.
Oh my God, this past so we ended, I think we ended it in April for doing and started in May. And ever since then, I realized that I kind of was magic wise, it started to kind of putter off. Like I didn't have the motivation to do it, but like I had to do a lot of study. And it was almost like because I was going to a higher realm, I had to get before I could study, it was that whole ADHD moment where you're like, well, I can't write this paper until I fix this room. And I can't fix this room until I do you're starting to go back to well, I can't honor this part until I fix everything else around in my sphere. So that was basically how it started was like, oh, I gotta put together this living room and put some pictures up instead of having just them sit on the floor. I have to wipe down my desk and make sure that's good and blah, blah, blah. So that was part of it. And then I realized that at some point, because of the way our groups were structured, there was almost a little bit of mourning happening too, because we're letting go of the fact that I won't be able to talk to the instructors directly so much. I mean, I can email them, I can do all that stuff, but we won't have that monthly check-in, which logically it's understandable
Yeah.
and there's good reasons for it. Like you need to be on your own. You need to validate yourself. You don't need them to validate you. So it's almost like a pushing it off out of the nest kind of scenario. So that was part of it too. And then I, sat down, worked on it really hard, did some I went really big and I went really big and basically ended up with three rituals. So I have a ritual that honors the elements, the earth elements, where I took all the rituals that we did and smashed it into one ritual.
Hmm.
So I do if I'm facing air, I do that whole ritual just in air. And then I go to the fire and I do that whole ritual. So I've combined them into one ritual. So then I just took the bones of that and then put in Yosad and the moon and um I thought I was gonna do the fixed stars, and there was a reason why, and I forget, unless I had the paperwork in front of me, I'm not quite sure. But I was gonna put the fixed stars in there too to honor like the higher energies of Yosad, and it ended up being like way too much. So when I performed it, it was kind of like I don't want to do that anymore. So,
Yeah, like it didn't flow the way you wanted it to flow,
mm-mm,
right?
mm-mm. And it's getting better and I'm getting more comfortable with it. I still think there's some like tweaks and stuff here and there that I need to do, but I it was funny. I was so fed up with myself at some point that I was like, Angels, will you just help me be motivated and get my ass going? And like it was almost like you get to a point where stillness is like winning. So it's almost like grabbing you and you're like, no, I need to do this. I need to move. Like, and then the next day they basically told me that I need to put Saturn in there. So now I'm going to do the moon and Saturn at the same time, which is more of like the traditional way of doing it through the Golden Dawn than doing it. And I brought in, there's smaller rituals too, where you just do it's called the banishing of the hexagram. And then you would do the Star of David at a particular start. So like the moon, if I'm invoking the moon, it'll be clockwise, but the moon's location is at the bottom. So you would put it up like this and then the top, and then you would put the moon symbol in the middle
Mm.
and charge that with a word. And so basically they had told me that I need to do that daily and then do the big one weekly.
Mm.
So like my routine right now is I do the lesser banishing ritual, and this refines my energy inside of myself. So I don't get too much air and I don't have imbalances in my aura.
Yeah.
Um, I also have included the lesser banishing of the hexagram, middle pillar, rose cross, and then I do uh, invoking ritual, the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram, the invoking of the hexagram, invoking of Saturn and the moon, and that's daily. So it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to do that. And then on the days that I'm doing all of the rituals together, it's about 3 hours or so.
Yeah, which I guess to somebody it could sound like a lot, but what I would say to that is it's no different than going to like a yoga class or, any other kind of like if you went to a workout class, say you went to a yoga class and you ended up being there an hour and a half, it's no different, it's just your version
Right.
of it's a form of self-care in a way of like, it's doing more than just self-care, but still, and that you could think about it in that way as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to because I think that's something that I used to think too is like, my God, we're gonna be here all freaking day. And then it's like, well, you gotta just get a different perspective around it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you're putting this into a vault or storage where you're energizing your energetic body and to build up almost, I guess maybe if I understand it right, it's more of like the Jacob ladder kind of thing where you're trying to get to um your higher self or your holy guardian angel is what they say. And I almost think of it as like the higher my energy is, the less it has to reach down and at some point you meet in the middle.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that.
But it's all to finish the great work. So, which I really
Well,
don't understand that either, but
Snaps for Nicole for finishing her. Well, getting it at least almost finished. Now she's just tweaking it, but congratulations, buddy, because that is fucking cool.
Thanks. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
But you figure, so since I've been doing magic, like I had to really take inventory on like because it's so easy for me to like blase and be like, I not doing anything, I nothing's happening, why am I still the same? Like I get into my little like tantrum, like this is bullshit, why do I gotta do it? Meh. And I realize at this point, like, I am now, instead of ignoring my body, I'm swimming an hour during the week. I am, I've been doing just for self care. I do chiropractic once a week. I do swimming 5 days a week. I do massage once a month and I do Reiki once a month just for my body. This shell.
The shadow.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, do you know how much you have to do to like keep this meat suit up? Like,
Ignorance is bliss,
bullshit.
bud.
Yeah, no kidding.
You fucked around, you're finding out.
I fucked around and found out.
Yeah, because now you can't go back. What you can do? You just get,
No.
you know too much.
Well, and also at this point, like, I feel so good when I do it that now when I feel bad, I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel this
Yeah, but
way.
you didn't think you felt bad.
Mm-mm,
That's what
no,
you
it's
fucked her. That's,
perspective,
yeah,
right?
it's you literally, you know too much
Right.
in the best way because now you know what it feels to feel better. And like, yeah, keep going. You're probably gonna even know something even better than that. Who knows?
Well, and I really started to, because I have this thing about journaling and about meditating. So those two, I've kind of really tried to like hone that in as well and get that integrated too. Like there's so much stuff like no wonder people have to be fucking organized because it's like you literally have to be like or carry it all with you. So when you got time, you just pull it out of your Mary Poppins bag and then be like, "Oh, I'm going to journal right now." Instead, I've got little bits of paper that I'm like, "Oh, I'll write down my thoughts here because that's all I got right now."
Yeah,
I was canceled. I was just canceled.
you were. Your computer center, and you're done.
And that's it with your
You're
ranting.
you're done. Soapbox done. TED Talk over.
TED Talk
Your
over.
time was up.
We pulled the plug. It's fine.
I mean, it's just
Well, what have you been doing?
it's cool to hear an update on that, by the way, because I wanted to see like how you were doing with that, because I know that was like a big feat at first, especially having like the ADHD part of it to like get it all the things you saw you had to do. Because I feel that, that's why I make lists for my list for my list.
Right, seriously. Well, then I don't use the list that I made, so what the
Yeah, yeah. Um,
frustrating.
I've been really into this freaking astrology thing, really into it. I started like putting all my correlations I'm finding down, and I'm making like pictures and like stuff for my wall that I'm going to be putting up. I ended up getting, the baby's a great example, and she's part of why this motivated me and gave me the idea is that the baby draws, and I mean, fucking draws. Like, girl is
Mm-hmm.
talented. She's got this big old freaking drawing pad. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. Because I have a million color pencils. I have all the stuff. I just don't have the satisfying part of it. The part that I want, is like the big drawing pads. So I got a couple of those at Hoann's. And I've started putting in like I worked on it a little bit this weekend because I'm starting to make like my own basically my own big study cards to put up on my wall in my bedroom because I've dedicated the bedroom to my learning.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to start putting all these correlations and things that I want to remember. Um because like even us going through the planets, there's things that I wanted to remember, like Mars isn't a bad planet. It's not just all aggression. Jupiter, yeah, it's expansion, but it's also, a source of happiness, all these things that we've learned that I want to remember about the planets and now the signs and like the correlations between them too is like, like which houses are ruling what place and what zodiac signs, like I was telling you earlier, is how like I'm starting to notice too, like I didn't realize that not only are the first houses like when we look at just the signs and like the air fire within each element, right, they go in order, like Aries, Leo, Sag is what we're talking about today, and they go in order of what number two like their zodiac is in. But also I didn't realize that that goes in line with like them being mutable, fixed, or cardinal too.
Mm-hmm.
And so like these are just correlations that I want to remember so that I have it, because I feel like it helps my understanding even more deeply than I did before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started creating my big note cards
That's cool.
because I think it feels better to see it, because eventually I won't have to see it. It'll just be there.
Well, yeah, and um flashcards are very helpful. I mean, a lot of stuff that's what I did, especially with the Tree of Life. There's so many correspondence that's like go with it that I actually painted it on the wall and then like, oh, the angel that corresponds with this and blah 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 and like all the correspondence that go with it because and that's how you really see that everything's like interconnected because you're like, oh, if the zodiac is here and this planet and that's what it means, then I know that this is kind of like what its flavor is, right? Like,
Yeah. Exactly. It's
mhm.
like also like I think about things so much in pictures in my head that like it's starting to like make sense in my head, but I feel like I still am missing like there's like think about when you think about like the planets all in the line, the where it shows you like just planets in a line out in the universe so you know where's what's where. It's like I'm missing pieces. And it's like I
Mhm.
need to get it up on my wall so that I can see it when I'm like, well, I'm missing that piece, and then be like, oh, there it is in my
There it
head.
is. Yeah.
Because I've also started trying to put the zodiacs with each planet, which signs with each planet too in my head. And so far, the only one I really have is Leo and the sun at the start. And I know, like Libra is with Venus. Where is Venus in that lineup? No idea. It's there, but in the lineup, she's still waiting to get put in line. She's
Hmm.
sitting here. And I know
She's
Pluto's at the end,
right.
but does Pluto have a sign? No idea. So I'm still working it out, and I'm like, I just want it up. I'm trying to be patient about it too, because like of course, Leo Virgo in me is like, it has to be pretty. You have to make it look pretty. It has to be aesthetically pleasing, or you're not going to like it up on the wall and you can't rush it because then it's going to get sloppy and you're going to want to redo it. So it's going to be a minute before that's all done. But it has felt good, like actually going and getting that stuff. So I was out and about last week. I said, I'm stopping at Joann's and getting myself some stuff because I really want to start this.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's been really into the astrology. So,
That place is dangerous.
oh, that place is.
Fucking Hoans.
I also maybe may or may have not have walked out with like 4 new Halloween decorations.
Yeah, they see that skull right here.
Yep.
Bought
Yep.
that there.
I have that.
Still haven't
I
put a plan in it. Actually, my speaker, it's a speaker holder right now.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Hmm.
I bought it and I put some fake plants in it already.
Big plans, what?
I know. We don't get good sunlight in here. I know. It does look pretty, but I know, sad about it. And it's like I told the little I said, listen, in the future, when we have better lighting, you're getting a real plant. You're gonna love it. I
And you're gonna
promise.
love it.
I promise.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to other than normal day-to-day 3D shit.
Hmm.
Pish posh.
Pish posh.
Pish posh.
Pish posh.
Pishy poshy.
All right, so what are we gonna do?
So, today we're talking fire signs. Um,
Fire
Fire
sign.
signs. And I feel like, you know, I don't have a lot of these signs. I only know a couple Aries, and as far as I could think, I think I only know one Sag sun. And so it was cool to like read more about these because I just didn't know as much about these signs, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, Other than Aries, because I feel like I knew a lot about Aries just because we have the baby.
We have the baby.
And the baby is, I would say she's got some strong Aries, but I don't know.
I have a lot of fire signs around me.
Do you really?
Yeah. I have a lot of Sagittariuses. I have a lot. Well, I have two in my household. So I have a Sagittarius and I have an Aries,
That's true.
just that I live with. And then, although they both have Virgo, yeah, Virgo rising.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Um, but a lot of my, well, I mean, I know a lot of, yeah, usually it's a lot of Sagittarius, a lot of few Leos, because Leos can get hit or miss, and they get their
Yeah.
feelings hurt a lot of the time. So,
Yeah, Leos are more sensitive than I ever knew.
hmm,
Till I knew one, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
right, right.
Yeah.
No, they're very fun, like, and they're very different, but um, because with the Aries, it's so nice to see somebody that has like these passions and these like they're always the one. If you want to start a project, this is the one you want to get. Like you want to call your Aries buddy to like, hey, I need help. Like, come help me. And they'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is a good way to say too, like Aries is a cardinal sign, so it's the beginning. It's the Aries is going to be
Hmm.
your beginning of the spring equinox. But remember when we talked about signs in the last episode, cardinal signs are the ones that are going to get the ball freaking rolling.
Hmm.
So Aries is going to be a good one for that.
And
And what
Aries is that ever I've known actually I know a guy who is literally this born the same day that Trinity is. And he has always been a child.
oh,
He's
interesting.
always been like a beat. And it was so weird too, because in my head, I always thought he was younger than I am, like by years. And really, he's only like 4 months younger than I am.
Interesting.
And I always thought he was like, what is he like? Um, well, when I met him, we were both young. So it was like, what is he like in his teens still? Like, and that's what I thought he was for years until I realized when his birthday was, and I was like, "You're born the same year I am." I'm like, I'm mind blown. But that's the feeling of an Aries.
Yeah, they
Always
keep things fun.
excited, always fun, always laughing. Like they light and um, little crazy in there. Like he would do like if Trinity didn't have the Virgo, she'd be more adventurous.
Yeah.
And that Virgo keeps her like a little more cautionary, where like if you don't have that, your Aries, like they want to experience life. They get bored easy. They don't want to like, they're like, I'm bored.
Yeah, I would say that for all fire signs. Fire
Mm-hmm.
signs get bored easy. They like a lot of energy, especially Aries. I read this thing that said, because we were talking about it was I was reading about how zodiac or it's the first zodiac sign, and somebody had said it's like the march or the match that starts the blaze. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh fuck yeah, that's a great way to say that like
Yeah, yeah.
Aries is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
They are the match that lights the blaze.
Yeah, because I even put down spark. Like I heard somebody say spark. And I was like,
Mm.
yeah, that's it. that it's that. And it's interesting, and I don't know how astrologers feel about this, but like you almost can almost see like the difference between a March Aries and a April Aries. And
Yeah.
that's like for all of them too. Like, because if you think about like Andy, who is a March Aries, and then compare him with Trent, now they both have Virgo rising as well. So it's very interesting to kind of see those energies that are a little different, that played out a little differently.
Yeah, it's also cool to see like when you start really like looking at your friends and people you know their signs, it's interesting to see them
Hmm.
at different ages too, because Rocky is also an Aries.
Yep, yep.
And it's like fun to see them at different stages in life and like all obviously the other influences that go on. But when you get the energy, the Aries energy, you're like, hmm.
All
It's interesting
right.
how it's very different between your ages and what you guys have experienced.
Mm-hmm. No, it is very interesting because I've noticed that about Geminis too. Because I'm like, you're a Gemini, but you're not throwing Gemini energy. And then, as you progress through the wheel, you learn different things. So you learn how to kind of not necessarily hide that, but maybe control it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that about Scorpios too.
Well, they're always transforming anyway, so
Yeah.
dark and depth. Meh.
I love Scorpio. Um, so with the zodiac, with Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, it also doesn't go without saying that it's ruled by the first house of self-identity in the body too, which I feel like also
Hmm.
helps to like Aries be a little like energetic, a little ball of energy.
Well,
Um,
and they're gonna want to like express themselves and find themselves. There was something on here that was talking about how they couldn't quite see or have an understanding of themselves. And I thought that was kind of interesting too.
hmm. Yeah, that is interesting. I could see that.
Hmm.
Um, I wonder like if it's because like also their ruling planet's Mars, and that's our planet we talk about energy and passion. It's the great motivator, right? Like that's where a lot of
Hmm.
that energy of like motivation comes from. But I wonder if that's also like because it's like a lot of moving energy, if that's why it's like hard for them to see themselves or like understand themselves, because it's like hard to slow down and like have the introspective part of it.
Hmm.
But also then that begs to question like what if their sun's in retrograde? Is that a thing? Can your sun be in retrograde?
Mm, I don't think the sun can be in retrograde because the moon's never in retrograde either.
Interesting. See, there's stuff I don't know.
And the retrograde is really, if you're standing on Earth, it's going to look like it's moving backwards. So I think it's more because it doesn't have an orbit.
Okay, okay. Interesting. Huh.
Like we revolve around the sun.
Yeah, 'cause I guess yeah, so that would make sense, would it? Well, my son's in retrograde, so just kidding.
Not yet, not until fall.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
That's when it's in retrograde. Can't
Uh-huh.
see it. No, I was always very interested because if you thought about like how we used to work at Trico, I would go around and like ask everybody their like sign, right? And you could really see how the planets move in this in real time. So like you've got Pisces, we had a lot of Pisces, we had a lot of
Oh,
Tauruses,
a lot of Taurus.
um, Leos. We only had one or two Capricorns, a lot of Libras.
A lot of
Um,
Libras.
but if you notice like how Kevin was the ruler of Tricos, right? And how everybody evolved around him. Like
Yeah.
he had actually created his own like solar system in that in that place. And I'm like, well, see, this is a perfect match for where he's at. And I'm pretty sure his sun sign was like in job or work or something like that. So it made sense as well how like I mean, not necessarily like he's famous, but like he is well known in our small like community. He
Hmm.
does command your attention. That kind of stuff. Like you tend to want to revolve around him.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Hmm
especially me coming in as assistant, I was like, well, hell yeah, I want to work under him. Like, I
Look at
didn't
him.
know. Yeah, like look at him.
Hmm
Look at how people love him. I want that.
hmm
Yep. It's funny too when you think about all the different roles that the zodiacs in like a workplace like that were too, because like our front desk was Aries, Sag, um, Taurus,
Aquarius.
Aquarius, like kind of like especially like one of the bigger positions was Aquarius, which is
hmm
the detached part of it was really well for that position.
Yeah. And really she is like for, Aquariuses are all for the group of the people. So Aquarius managers are very great to have. Like if I
Have
used to run a company, I would have everybody's zodiac sign. Or their charts because I would go, so I could put them, and it wouldn't be just to be like to weed people out. It would be to put them in the perfect place where they would shine,
That's so
right?
smart.
It would be so satisfying and so win-win for everybody because you would be doing what made you feel good. You'd be in the position where you needed to be. Like, and then the company would strive anyway because everybody's happy. Like it would be just like why we don't use this more often is beyond my comprehension,
Agreed. Yeah,
especially in business.
that's yes, agreed. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 50 things run through my mind. Okay, so Aries symbol is the ram, which
Mm-hmm.
symbolizes the signs of determination and fiery, unstoppable energy. And Aries season typically falls between March 20th through April 19th. Um, Aries rules the head and face, and the tarot card is going to be the Emperor. Could you tell us what the Emperor is?
The emperor usually talks about authority, action, taking action. Um, that's usually all I know, and I'm sure there's more to it.
I think all that you said though is pretty spot on for Aries though.
Yeah, well, if you think about Aries, especially a Ram, like they're headstrong, and like if you cross one, you're dead. Like I just don't know what to tell you. You are gonna burn. You're gonna burn.
I actually have the Egyptian and the Greek mythology on the ram too. Because in Egyptian astronomy, the Rams association continued through the sun god Amun Ra, or shortened on Ra, who had a human form. When he was in human form, it was human body, ram's head, and he ruled over fertility and creativity. And he was like the vital. He ruled over also the vital forces that set spring and regeneration into motion too,
Oh, that's good.
right? And I was like, I did not know that.
All right, so Emperor, older man stability, dependability, fatherhood, father figure. As a person, the Emperor represents an old man who is good in business and unusually wealthy. The Emperor is solid, stable. He is a powerful, grounded protector, but he also can be rigid and stubborn. This can be a father or a father type figure type or an older man you are romantically involved in. Well, that I don't really want to know about that bullshit. But sometimes tarot cards get weird. Like I just like give me
Yep.
the facts. I don't want to hear about that bullshit. Like,
Yep. Yep.
but this is how. Okay, so this is how you divinate through the internet. Is you read up to the point where you don't feel like okay, the first information was good. The second, no, I'm done. I don't. Um,
It's not hitting. It's
Mm-mm.
it's not making it doesn't matter.
No, I don't like that one at all. So, yeah, like I think that's a good card for it. You're also talking, it's the fourth one, two, oh, oh, right, we don't count that one. It's four. Mm, I don't know if
The
that means anything.
fourth major arcana. I mean, it's a pretty
Hmm.
powerful card.
Yeah, the major arcana usually talk about big life stuff. Like this is usually, so if you would use this energy of this card to kind of like, if we're the magician, we have everything and we use intuition with the priestess, and then we are fruitful with the empress. Then we obtained everything that we got, and we are stable with the emperor. I'm
Mm.
trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, this would be, this would be a good card to even like meditate on, and especially if you're trying to get something done and you
Yeah,
need that like guidance, that male stability kind of guidance. It'd be very good for like that, using that projecting outward kind of energy. And it would be fascinating to see like if you did meditate, what would come to you and what you would get from it.
absolutely. Especially if you're an Aries, probably be super helpful. And what you were saying too with the Emperor card, some of the challenges, because it kind of, I heard you say a few of them with the Emperor card even. Some of the challenges with an Aries placement could include like proudness, self-centeredness, impulsivity, bossiness, stubborn, because again,
Mm-hmm.
remember Ram head,
Oh yeah.
recklessness and jealousy as well. And some of the word associations that are more positive for it are going to be like energetic and encouraging,
Mm-hmm.
unstoppable, bold,
Mm-hmm.
devoted, heroic, caring.
Yeah, there's a couple women Aries that I know, and they are fascinating. Like very joyful. Like I would almost think of Aries sometimes being more harder, but these women Aries, the way it's translated into their being, like very jovial, very like always positive, very warm light, like
Yeah,
wouldn't, if I needed to talk to somebody, these would be the women, and I need like a pep talk, these would be the women that I would go to.
yeah. I even do that with the baby. She's
Mm-hmm.
freaking howled and I go to her and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
help, help me.
Help me. Help me.
Yeah, so like under um words are hard, like a Aries placement in your chart, a planetary transit, you could become like more pioneering and innovative, right?
Right.
And you can put really bold ideas out there, which can make you pretty good at also giving advice. um Aries usually are your trailblazers and your trendsetters. These are the people that are like, they enjoy like competitive games and new clothes and road trips. They like good debates. They love expressing themselves through like a verbal or like a physical feat.
Mm-hmm.
So like that is gonna play out a lot and like depending on what planet it's in, what house it's in, right? Um, but I also want to put in here like in love though, because like I think that this has been something where like we get a little confused with like fire signs versus like, one like Scorpio, Gemini. There's a lot that I feel like I hear sometimes and I'm like, I don't think that's right. Like to baby astrologers or they'll read it somewhere and I'm like, where did you read that? But in love,
Right.
normally Aries is like a very independent sign that like they
Mm-hmm.
love romance though, but they do still need their room to breathe. And so like they're gonna really, really enjoy like a one-on-one personal relationship where they like once they're committed to a relationship, they do so with their whole heart, but they still need room to breathe.
I think that's all the fire signs, though. You can't get too close. Like you're gonna get burned, right?
Or it's like you're stuffing out a fire.
Yes. Yep. And you will kill that. Because like being married to a Sagittarius is very much like that.
I bet.
Like very independent, very in his own like head, very much like, and if I wanted to control him too much, it would just stifle that fire out.
Absolutely. It's like, you have to have oxygen to get a fire to go and have
Right.
the healthy fire, right? You can't get it without it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great example. That's
Oh, I left.
bye.
Canceled again 3 times today.
So since Aries is also like first in the zodiac, they usually tend to see themselves at number one, which means they're just natural born leaders. These are the people that aren't going to
Hmm.
shy away from getting something initiated. Doesn't necessarily mean that they prefer to complete it, but they will start it for you. Like if you need help, like I don't even know where to begin on this, they'll give you the beginning. It'll be
Right.
right there. It's easy for them to see, but it's not so easy for them to keep it in motion per se.
Right. Well, even thinking about like, with the warrior, like they're just gonna go in and do their task. Like they don't, where a lot of us other like signs will sit there and go, well, we have to analyze all the things first, and then maybe we can like if we're blazing a trail, like we need somebody just to go in there, break the shit down, and then let us like do the rest of it as we go through, right?
Yep.
Like, because if you're talking like a forest, like you got to get that path in. And you can't be
Hmm.
thinking like too much about where the path is going to go. What's it going to look like? Is it going to be pretty? Is it not going to be? Are we going to use stone? Are we going to use tile? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many like things that we could probably get into where at first we just need to bulldoze the fucking shit down and then like go in and refine it and like do all that other stuff, right? Like
Yep.
you need that like unbreakable somebody that's going to test the limits, somebody that's going to break the rules. Like you need somebody that's kind of fearless with that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah. Aries is perfect for that.
Right.
Um, that's all I have on Aries. If you have anything else before we move on to Leo.
Um, they love to argue. So what I would like to say to that is if you find yourself with like an Aries person and they start arguments with you, it's not because they're mad or they are trying to win. They love the back and forth. So do the back and forth. Just don't get emotionally involved into it. And that'll really help you actually like um connect with them in a better way, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing that I really love about my daughter, well, one of the stories that I have about being a true fucking Aries is that
Hmm.
she was about 2.5 around that, and she's in her car seat in the back car, right? And for some reason it was cold out, so and we're on the freeway, and she was like, "Okay, you say yes, and I'll say no." So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, yes. And she's like, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. And I'm like, we're fucking arguing. We're not even arguing about anything. We're literally just arguing. Like,
Loves it.
do you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying is like they like that back and forth. They like to have that like little bit of like, so don't automatically agree with them, but try to balance yourself in a place where you're not going to jump off. Right? You got to be able to argue correctly
Yes.
because the problems with, especially nowadays, with arguments is that you always want to be right. Don't look for being right. Look for the argument because that's what they truly love.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck
Dude.
yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, next we got
Moving on
Leo.
up to the east side.
Okay, so Leo season typically happens between July 23rd and August 22nd. Leo is next in this lineup because it is also the fixed sign, which again is in the middle of cardinal and mutable. This is the stabilizers. This is where you're going to set up a solid foundation. Leo's like it with the fixed sign, they're taking those enthusiastic ideas, that bulldozing that Aries did for us, and they're crafting it into something real. So they're going to pick up the ball where Aries left off and
Right.
run the distance.
Right. Because Aries is going to run out of steam.
Yes.
So we need somebody that has a fixed attitude. Like once they start, they're not stopping
They're not stopping, baby.
because they're fixed,
Uh-huh.
which makes them stubborn. But
Yes.
which is good if we use stubborn in a way of like, I need somebody to run this, to whatever, then they're the ones that we need. It's that middle part where we don't necessarily love because it's not exciting as being new and starting the project, and it's not as fun as finishing it. It's in the middle when you're like getting your hands dirty and you're like, this is
Hmm.
tiring and oh my God, it's so boring. And like, yeah, so this is that kind of thing, that energy.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Also there I love talking about Leo. I don't know why. I have no Leo in me, none at all, but it's fun to talk about.
Do
Um,
I have any Leo?
I don't know if you do. I did not look. Um, the symbol is the lion, so think proud and fierce. Their
Hmm.
personality is going to be more expressive and flamboyant in nature. And I have a little fun thing. The symbol of the lion goes back to Greek mythology when it was associated with the lions that Heracles overcame in the heroic battle. And since then, it's been a symbol of victory, pride, and courage. Heavy with the Leo.
Heavy Leo.
Leo's also the fifth sign of the zodiac. So, of course, we now know it's ruled by the fifth house. And the fifth house is going to be like good fortune, creativity, children
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
And we already know this because we've said it, but we're going to say it again. The ruling planet is the sun. Now, typically, the sun's going to represent the ego and the masculine life force energy found in humans. And
Hmm.
ancient Greek and Roman mythology, though, Apollo was the sun, and he drove his chariot of flaming horses around the earth every day during the daytime, and that's how we got light. I think that's huge to think about when you think about Leos or Leo placements,
Hmm.
especially strong Leo placements.
Yeah, because they like their pride. They like to be in the middle of everything. They like to bring the light to the room.
Yeah, and it's also so good if you think about if you literally get it burned in your brain, Apollo riding his chariot around the during the day to bring the sun. Well, you're also going to think about um passion. You're also going to think about generosity because like that's a fucking generous ass thing to do. You're going to think
Yeah.
about strength and trustworthiness. You're going to think about all these things when you think about that specifically. That goes really
Hmm.
well with Leo.
Yeah, and it's with the fixed sign, it's always going to be there.
Yes. Yes. Now, with that too, challenges for Leo can be arrogance, can be wastefulness, can be cold-hearted, can be jealous, can be
Hmm.
aggressive.
Well, they like to be dramatic too. So, like, a lot of that stuff is about being dramatic and like going above and beyond. Your Leos will always love to dress impeccably. They will
Hmm.
always like to be warm and centered and like, um, but yeah, you got to be careful of those little things that are like, they can tick you right over to dictatorship.
It's like the best way in my head to say it is literally when you think of Leo, think of a lion objectively. When they get up, they shake their mane and they don't know that they look like they're blowing it in the wind, but they are. It's second nature.
Mm-hmm.
But also lions look really cute. And I mean, I think they do. I'm like, yeah, I want to go and I want to be like that lady that lays on the back of a cow and hugs it and says,
Yes.
oh, I can squeeze it so hard and it does nothing. That's what I want to do with a lion.
And
But
I'm okay with dying.
yeah, there's that second nature that comes along with lions too of
Mm-hmm.
aggressiveness. And,
Mm-hmm.
this what do I want to say? It could be considered cold-heartedness, but it's second nature. It's just
Mm-hmm.
they don't think about it.
No,
It's a lion.
it's a lion.
It's a freaking lion, man.
They're just doing lion things.
Yes, it is normal, natural. Um, okay, Leo rules the heart, upper back, and spine. And the tarot card for Leo is strength.
Which has a Leo in it,
Literally a lion right smack dab on it.
right in it.
I think strength is a pretty self-explanatory card, but if you'd like to give more,
Well, with the strength card, like a lot of times I think we think about strength about being more aggressive, and this card shows us how we are, there's strength and compassion. So with the card, with her caressing the mouth of the lion while she's holding him, she has not necessarily tamed the beast, but has a mutual respect with it enough where she can touch the mouth and she's not going to get bit. So this is the compassion of strength of A, being able to do something scary and uh, have the strength and the know-how to actually tame the beast down, or at least like make it respect you or like have a mutual bond with it. Um, you don't always have to wield the sword to be strengthful. That is one form of strength, but like even nowadays, like, we were having this conversation earlier, and I was like, how do you protest, but how do you actually protest and like make people think and create something out of it instead of just being like an asshole with a sign, right? Like how do you do that kind of thing to be brave and to be, put out there in front of everybody, but in a way that's very constructive, that makes people think, that makes people have compassion. Like it projects something out instead of it just being a statement of like, we hate this,
yeah,
like, and with that card, and this is another one that's very good to like kind of meditate on and find where your strength is. If you meditate on this card, and even if you just stare at it, like you don't have to have a whole thing, but just staring at it and having it run images through your mind, it would bring up to the point of where your strength actually lies and where your positives and how you can kind of like be brave and do this.
absolutely. Yeah, the strength card's a cool card, especially when you get to know it better.
Hmm.
Um, were you done with the tarot card and didn't want to interrupt if you weren't?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool. So Leo's going to be one of your most passionate zodiac signs. They wear their heart on their sleeve, okay? And
Hmm.
you will know it. They even quiet Leo people, their energy is like not usually ignored. You can tell they're a Leo. And like even quiet Leo people are going to tell you like it's inspiring though. They wear their heart on their sleeves. Yes, they are an emotional sign, which I feel like not a lot of people look at them like an emotional sign. Usually we look at other signs to be emotional. Leo wears their heart on their sleeve and you're always going to know what's going on with them.
Yep.
They are nakedly honest
Hmm.
about everything going on around them, which for me
That's
personally, I
it.
like it.
No, it's nice because that's that boldness in that sun projecting out and expressing itself uh to the world at large, right?
Hmm.
And um they are very inspirational
Hell
because
yeah.
it's that if you think of it like the sun, and how we're the perfect distance from it. We get the warmth, we get the wonder, we get the, this beautiful light all the time, every day of our lives that
Mhm.
we get. It's such um just getting out of bed. Inspirational of like the sun did it, I can do it. Like
Yeah. Yeah, or
mhm.
the sun's like, time to wake up, bitch, let's go. And I'm like,
Let's go. Shit to do.
we have to. And the sun's like, bing, right into your face. It's like, yeah, you have to.
You got to. You got to
Sun.
do this.
Which is another good way too to think about it is they are natural born leaders and performers. Leo people are good bosses. They
Mhm. Mhm.
again think um fixed sign, they're gonna lay a solid foundation.
Absolutely. You'll always know where you stand with them.
Yep, 100%.
Mhm.
Um Okay, the only other thing I really have is for Leo is that as the middle fire sign, meaning fixed, Leo can be more grounded and traditional than Aries and Sagittarius are. I think that is something after have knowing a Leo and gotten to know a Leo, I did not realize was the thing. It's fire sign. I'm like, whatever, you guys are fucking wild. You guys are like I'm over here air. Yeah, sure. We could get wild too, but like just like fires like energy, energy, energy. And I was like, I didn't realize that Leo would be more grounded and traditional as opposed to like, Aries being more energetic and like, let's go, go, go. And Sagittarius, which we'll talk about in a minute, being more adventurous and like, let's go anywhere and everywhere.
Well, yeah, because the one, if you think about it, a spark of an Aries is literally just that. It's a spark. It's a burst of energy, right?
Yeah,
Well, to have a fire that you can cook on or you can like warm your house with, like it has to be fixed. You can't just have a bunch of sparks. You're not going to have any warmth from it,
right.
right? You have to actually start something on fire because that actually will warm your house or heat your food or make you uh paint that painting or you know what I mean? Like it's
Paint that
that
painting, girl.
fire.
Yeah.
You got to
It,
get that energy to be consistent.
it's Calcifer.
Yeah, it's
It's
Calcifer.
Calcifer. Um, Yeah. Other than that, fucking Leos are fiercely fucking protective, dude. Again, think about a lion. Fuck with its family. Fuck around and find out, dude.
Fuck around and
You
find
cross a
out.
Leo,
Yeah,
good fucking luck. Good luck, my friend. Cross a Leo with a Capricorn on their back, good fucking luck, my friend.
absolutely.
Fucking luck. You fuck around and find out.
You're gonna fuck around and find out, that's for sure.
Yep. So especially like depending on its placements, not because like I don't have any Leo in my chart. Do you have any Leo in your chart?
I do. It's my Saturn though. That's it. So I
Okay.
have a Leo in the 11th house and Saturn's in it. Um, yeah, because everything's opposite in my chart. So the fifth house where it's supposed to be is Aquarius,
Mm,
which
stunning.
is supposed to be in my 11th house instead. Right.
Yeah, everything is
So
opposite.
odd. You know what's really weird too is that Pisces and Virgo are across from each other and there's nothing in either one of them.
Mm, completion.
Oh,
Oh,
that means my Cancer and my Gemini are also completed. Is that what that means?
okay, now that we've been talking a lot about astrology, I actually meant to send you this video on TikTok. This astrologer was talking about looking at your circle chart here, and when you have nothing in those, it's completion. It's things that you have already completed before getting into this lifetime, and you don't have any karma there.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's so interesting because there can be a million different like ways that's one interpreted and two could be looked at between lifetimes, right? But
Hmm.
Because like my Aries is in the second house, Taurus in the third, and Pisces in the fifth. I'll have nothing in them. Which I did not look deeper into that, but I did hear her say that and it stuck with me because I was like, why does that kind of make sense though?
Right, right,
Because a lot of those things sometimes, like, yeah, they can help you figure out a situation that's external, but internally you might not even be dealing with something that involves that house and planetary placement.
right, right.
So yeah,
Yeah, because
then
I've got,
just
what else do I got?
yeah, what you got going on over
What's I got going on over here? Where's my
there?
Aries? Oh, Aries is in my seventh house. So that makes sense too
Hmm,
for
again,
relationships. All or nothing.
all or nothing, baby.
That's right. I don't know
Um,
what middle is.
no, you did not. That's okay. But that's what makes it easy with you. At least in my opinion, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's easy. I don't have to sit here and question shit. Good to go. Do you have anything else about Leo before moving into Sagittarius?
No, let's go into Sag.
Okay. Um, season is typically between November 22nd and December 21st. And the symbol is the archer or the centaur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the symbol of Aries looks like a little arrow pointing skyward, and it's said that Sag is always aiming for a higher spiritual ideal in philosophy in life, and that's why it's pointing skywards. And then the centaur can represent the upper half representing this wisdom seeking part of Sag, while the lower half is like seeking the adventures part.
Mm-hmm.
Which funny to me because I was like, funny how that kind of sounds a little bit like Gemini in my
Well,
head.
they are opposites, right?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I don't. I was gonna say you would. I don't know enough about Sag or Gem. I know more about Gem.
Where is my Sagittarius? Yeah, Gemini and Sagittarius are across from each other.
Ah, so funny because like hearing the like breakdown of the centaur, I was like, that sounds kind of like Gemini having those
Mm-hmm.
two parts of them.
Mm-hmm. You were right.
So the symbol of the centaur also is based on the Greek mythological association with Chiron. I hope I'm saying that right. And Chiron was a great teacher of music, medicine, hunting, and prophecy. Was a centaur because this is Chiron is who healed the heroes Achilles and mentored him in archery and many other great arts when he cared for Achilles as a child. And Achilles later grew to be victorious in the Trojan War, likely having learned to be brave and clever while under the teachings of the centaur.
Mm-hmm.
Chiron, Chiron. Words are hard.
Was it,
Um,
is it like Chiron, like the planet?
Chiron.
Chiron?
Rion, yes.
So this one is Iron, the planet one, at,
Um,
at least here.
yeah, so is the centaur, Chiron. The technical spelling is Kheiron. Of course, we've Americanized it, so um, did he? Yeah, yeah, because all I could think about was what's his name in Hercules.
Hercules,
The Frank.
Hercules.
Um,
Oh, the little like, wasn't he a goat?
no, I think he was Centaur.
He was not a centaur.
Oh no, I think he was a goat.
He's a goat. Oh, I just hit myself in the face.
I can't remember. It's taking a minute to look up. Okay. Well, anyways, Um, Sagittarius is your mutable sign of the fire signs. This is the end of the season. And so Sag always is going to have that knowing that all good things come to an end, and their role is to prepare everyone for the change in those seasons. So these are the adapters of the fire signs. A little bit older, a little bit wiser, and they're more comfortable with change and flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it when we were talking about our fire symbolism, about how Aries is the spark and Leo's the fire. I feel like then Sag would be the embers after the fire's gone out.
Um, or the stars.
Or the stars.
Because, well, I mean, I don't know, because embers would be like cooking, and if you're a philosopher, I feel like you cook.
Yeah, and it's like the completion of like the fire and having that like warmth still there that you can
Mm-hmm.
use, but it's like the fire is not ablazing anymore like it was with Leo.
Right,
It's not
right.
sparking trying to start with
Is
Aries.
that?
She done blaze, and now she's just holding heat, hot heat.
Mm-hmm.
Because, but then I think about it too, and stars might be better a mental visual because of the ruling planet being Jupiter here, a
Mm-hmm.
planet of expansion. Um, so maybe stars is better because also Aries does look skyward for wisdom and philosophy, and Jupiter is like, expand. I don't care where,
Mm-hmm.
just expand.
Just make it bigger.
Make it bigger, more cowbell.
More cowbell.
So yeah, I think stars above the fire you got raging below is actually a really good. That is a better one than embers because of the expansion and the wisdom seeking that Sag does.
Yeah, they want to be explorers because they want to teach. So they have to like explore enough so they can have the knowledge and they can take that knowledge and give it back to the world in a way that we can understand.
Yeah, it's like they're the ones that are gonna digest it and then spit it back out in baby food and be like,
Yeah,
here you go. Easy to understand.
right. This is what I've learned here. Your turn.
Your turn. Okay, Sag rules the hips and thighs. And Sag is said to be honest and fair-minded, inspiring and optimistic, enthusiastic, encouraging, and dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the challenges that are going to come with Sag are going to be argumentative. Never heard that before. Reckless. Never heard that before. Flaky, preachy, prone to tactlessness, and overconfidence.
Yes.
Which makes sense when you got somebody who's, very focused on wisdom and philosophy and adventuring to gain that too. There's going to be some overconfidence there.
Right. Because they, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they're a know-it-all.
Yeah.
So they automatically think they're right because they know it all. Because they have that little sixth sense of like, I know.
If you have ever met anybody who is a Sag or has a strong Sag rising specifically, it is so true.
They also don't have filters, by
No.
the way. So a Sagittarius will hurt your feelings.
They're really bad at hiding emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like that no filter also goes to like no hiding of the emotions. It's like if
Mm-mm.
they're pissed off, you're gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
The tarot card's gonna be temperance. Temperance.
Temperance. Where is it? That's the star. That's not, oh, temperance. So this is um This is definitely where like higher wisdom, if temperance comes up, it symbolizes being like actually doing alchemy, taking one substance and turning it into another. It has one foot on the earth, one foot into the water. So being in both worlds. So it shows that whole thing about like being a horse and being a man kind of thing too. So that's how that kind of shows the duality of that sign. But they're almost guided by their passion and their divinity to get to a higher state of being. They're pure of heart, um, and they want to bring things into matter. That whole transmutation and bringing things into matter,
Hmm.
and
Which
that's difference.
temperance makes sense for Sag too because of the house rising or the house it's ruled by. It's the ninth sign in the zodiac, and it's also then therefore ruled by the ninth house, which is the house of spirituality and higher learning.
Yep.
Coincidences, connections.
Well, that's the thing. Spider web unite because
Yeah.
this is how we figure out that everything's connected. Like they say that, you don't understand it, and then you're like, aha,
Ah, everything's making sense.
this makes more sense now. Mm-hmm.
So Sag again, adventure learning, living life to the fullest. They're free-spirited and optimistic, open-minded and ambitious. These are going to be your people that are going to listen to all your ideas and then tell you which one's going to be what they think will be the most advantageous one. They're going to be like, hell yeah, let's do that. That's going to be so much fun. I'm going to learn so many things and we're going to do so much in that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be your people that love to travel because wide
Yeah.
open spaces are phenomenal. They're going to be your people that are like, I love road tripping and I love being out in the middle of nowhere because it's so much fun and this is great. And there's so many, look at all this wide open space I can run around.
Well, and so much information gathering and learning and like having new experience to put in their like file cabinet of wisdom.
Heck yeah. Your typical Sag is also going to juggle a million projects, hobbies, and friends, which every Sag I know is like this. They have a million things going all at once. And how they juggle it, I don't understand it.
No, but that's their special gift, right?
Yep.
That's the thing is they know how to do it because they have those it that's what they were born with.
Fuck yeah.
Hmm.
Also, like I feel like if you know anybody that has a lot of wisdom or has gained quite a lot of knowledge, it is kind of like they're juggling. I mean, that's a lot to keep in the old brain compartment up here, you know? It's a lot of information to keep. And when you do know people like that, they do normally juggle. You bring up one simple thing, like let's say Sagittarius, and all of a sudden there's like 20 different conversations that pop into their head about what they could tell you about something because of all the knowledge that they've gained about just the simple word Sagittarius.
Absolutely. Well, even like Gemini, because Gemini is the same way that they just have so much knowledge that they're like, "Ugh," like,
Literally. Yep.
let me tell you, they got charts, they have, and I think Sagittarius might be the more refined information where they
Mhm.
actually took the information and like thought it through,
Right.
bigger picture kind of thing.
Well, and also because Gemini is only the third sign and
Hmm.
Sagittarius is more towards the completion of the zodiac at what number were they again? Ninth.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you where that is the more refined version of that knowledge gaining.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, the only other thing I have is that Sag traits are derived from its active masculine or yang qualities, making the sign more oriented towards like assertive engagement with the outer world. Not scared to engage. not scared to go and get shit done and do things and like, hey, let's go try this. Hey, let's go try that. If you have any, like I said, Sag rising, Sag moon, even like, your planets of travel, uh, those are your people that are going to love to go places with you and bring you new places to go and explore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all I got.
That's all I got.
That's, that's all I got. Um, yeah, so that's our fire signs. And it's funny talking about the different signs and seeing all the correlations between a lot of them. I really have been enjoying this series so far because it's like things that I never thought about because you don't normally look at them all together. Um,
No. No, I usually individually look at them instead of like, mm-hmm.
or like if
It's
you're
very interesting. Well, and really, the whole thing is you can't really explain one without having the other anyway. And that's what's super interesting about that.
Yeah, and it makes more sense to see like just knowing like the cardinal fixed immutable, that alone helped me so much because it's like it gives me more places to put them in and like categories almost where it's like, okay, this makes a lot of sense for this sign and that alone. Oof,
Mm-hmm.
crazy how something that's always there has helped so much.
Right.
Um, okay, so next we go into the water signs.
Water signs.
We are turning from the south and heading to the west.
West.
No, west.
Water. My favorite.
It is your favorite, isn't it?
It is my favorite.
It's a good element.
I can't help it.
It's got a heavy hold on you, bud.
Mm-hmm. It
You are
does.
mine. You may think you're
It,
an earth sign, you're not.
nope. I don't even have any water in my chart.
Isn't that so funny? You have no water in your chart, but the water is your element, baby.
Yeah, like my uh I think my Neptune is in Scorpio, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah, that's so funny. How bizarre.
Actually, it's my Uranus.
Mm,
Because Uranus looks like a spaceship and Neptune looks like the trident.
see if I can. Oh, close enough. 18.
That's all I
Well,
got
all
then.
right. That's all we got for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And next, like we said, we'll be talking about water signs, and
Water
yeah, we have one
signs.
more grouping after that, and then we're done with the zodiacs.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Because we're
Well,
gonna do Earth, right?
yep.
After
Earth after
water.
water.
Mm-hmm.
All right, peeps. Well, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.